This video is brought to you by Mubi, a curated streaming service showing exceptional films from around the globe. Get a whole month free at mubi.com/SpikimaMovies. Here's my pick for the scene that best represents Squid Game's recurring theme of misdirection. Not because it unveils the true identity of Il-nam, but because it perfectly hides the true identity of the final game.
부탁이네.
Before we expand on this, let's take a step back and re-examine how the show generally misdirects. Consider the very first episode. The series begins by pulling you right into the madness, suggesting its direction as an adrenaline-filled journey of bloody survival, only to push you back out at the next chapter. And recall how they depict that moment. Instead of showing you the button, they resort to showing you the color the button emits, prolonging the confusion for a split second and enhancing the shock. What naturally follows is a defiance of genre tropes, where characters are fleshed out without the use of flashbacks or redundant expositions. When they do implement genre conventions, they use them wisely with camera tricks to subvert expectations of the audience. Like in this scene, where the camera pans from Gi-hun's daughter to his umbrella, implying their heartwarming reunion outside. But instead, we get a stressful confrontation between Gi-hun and the stepfather. When the anticipated event finally takes place, the scene has deformed so much that the reunion now acts as just another source of heartache. Squid Game is not afraid to play with such techniques. They use bold cheat cuts and visible goofs if it deems the overall tone to be powerful enough to override the mistakes. Everything is working as a building block for the finale, each misdirection numbing, preparing, and leading the audience to this revelatory moment.
아직도 사람을 믿나?
But as discussed, the last act holds two cards in its hand, where one reveals and the other hides. And to realize the hidden card, you must concentrate not on the subtle tricks of each episode, but on something so daringly open that many don't even realize its deceitfulness. The set design. Conventionally, a set is built to be an invisible part of the screen because this adds authenticity and immersiveness to the film universe. In Squid Game, however, the boundaries of the fiction film set are unhidden from the audience. Because the premise of the show is based on the characters playing games inside a set, the aforesaid immersiveness is maintained and the illusion of realism heightened. But that's not the only reason why the art director Choi Kyung-sun and her team, along with the director Hwang Dong-hyuk, decided to spell out the sets. For one, the open sets increase tension by visually communicating one of the main themes of the series, inequality. Gi-hun first wakes up in a room full of metal beds. The ladder-like frames imply the importance of ascension, while the structure that reminds of the Roman Colosseum suggests the primitive and violent nature of both this game world and the society they come from. The mazy staircase that everyone must walk through to get to the game is not just reminiscent of MC Escher's lithograph, but of the subservient quality of the people living in the hierarchical society, where its discriminating conditions favor the stepping stone mentality over altruism and teamwork. The colorful wallpapers, the bright lights, the occasional darkness of the underground tunnel, and the bleak cityscape operate as the final nail in the coffin, juxtaposing the childlike vitality of the game sets with the cold and torpid energy of the metropolis, alluding to the audience that equality is just as much an illusion in the game world as it is in the real world. But the second and arguably more significant function of the set design is to provoke a question of what is real and what is not. Consider again the deliberately visible boundaries of the various sets. The metallic frames and the matching black paintings that portray the player's fate not only feel inhospitable, but are also very theatrical. It frames their cold residence with a unifying theme and reminds the audience that this is nothing but a stage. That even here, the game must go on, and their struggles are merely a show for the ones watching. The vibrant staircase screams of their artificiality and establishes a claustrophobic atmosphere that is unfitting to its bright colors and rather open architectural style. In red light, green light, the soaring walls of the fake schoolyard emphasize the fabricated character of the game world, while contrasting it with rather realistic murals and retractable roofs that reveal the outside world to the players. Everything about this set is meant to feel fictitious, right down to the creepy doll. Yet each article, including the doll, is very much real, and overlooking their presence will result in death. Considering how the team actually built these sets from scratch, the naturalness of what we see must be an aspect that holds dire importance to understanding the message. Proving this claim over time, the setting becomes more real than the world.
그게 나일 수도 밀었을 거냐?
And that's part of the point. Squid Game differentiates itself from its competitors by putting less weight on the games and more on the characters that are playing the games. The director himself has said that Squid Game isn't about the originality of the games or a genius protagonist who sweeps through the obstacles as much as it is about the losers and their intimate character arc, which is why everyone is so relatable and why most of us cried in episode 6. The set almost becomes a character we follow and helps the audience shift their attention to the evolution of the characters instead of the objectivity of the games.
공격.
Now, of course, they are playing kids' games, and everything is, to a degree, purposefully childish, dazzling, and nostalgic. But that doesn't take away from the fact that the setting intensifies the characters' terribly genuine traits of selfishness, anger, and guilt by contrasting the innocence of childhood with the corruption of adulthood.
형이랑 이러고 놀다 보면 꼭 엄마가 밥 먹으라고 불러준대.
In fact, every game set the characters walk into radiate the same energy. The marble game set, which is also built from nothing, is made to look as convincing and accurate to the time period as possible, featuring signs, doors, and other items that simulate a small-town Korea of the past, and decorating them accordingly with detailed rusts and other defects.
그 구슬치기를 하는 그 공간이 굉장히 리얼리티한 우리 옛날 뒷골목 같은 우리가 살던 그 대문 앞 같은 느낌이 있어서 그런 거에 대해서 오는 희한한 향수와 함께 오는 이상한 긴장감?
But then, what envelopes this meticulously constructed town is a giant, bogus sunset. The discrepancy signals its inevitable dishonesty, keeping the audience on edge and forcing them to question the difference between the two worlds and between the characters and the viewers.
제일 많이 공력을 들였던 세트이기도 하고 시간도 되게 많이 걸렸는데 석양을 어떻게 표현할까 되게 고민을 했는데 이것 또한 가짜와 진짜의 어떤 경계에 있는 세트로 만들어 보자 해서 삶과 죽음, 가짜와 진짜가 공존하는 그런 공간의 게임이 이야기가 되는 거죠.
The three symbols of Squid Game scattered throughout the town is a great clue for the game's trickery. No matter how free they may feel, everyone is still within the boundaries of the game's mastermind, and nobody is truly autonomous. This is akin to the society the game world is desperately trying to condemn. Like how the outside world portrays itself as balanced and orderly, the Squid Game world fills itself with colorful sets, fancy equipment, organized structures, and flashy outfits, promising equality to the people within and painting itself as an opportunistic heaven.
평등이야. 이 게임 안에선 모두가 평등해.
And just as the world turns out to be unjust and unforgiving, the game world also gradually uncovers its strict rules and regulations to the players, who chiefly have to rely on luck to win most of the games, as the outcome largely depends on the choices they make before the game is even announced.
게임 한 번 더 하지.
This is why the last game, played between Il-nam and Gi-hun, is also a deceiving one at heart. Il-nam is a character fascinated by Gi-hun's genuine benevolence, which is why he stays beside Gi-hun, observing his reaction to moral dilemmas.
인연이 있나 보네.
When Gi-hun decides not to spend a penny after winning the game, Il-nam returns to test his humanity one last time with his game.
헛소리 하지 마.
Will someone come along and help the dying person by midnight? This game is essentially identical to the game the VIPs have been playing with Gi-hun and Gi-hun with the horses, betting on others' lives and fates as entertainment. The point of this game is to see if Gi-hun will still prioritize the lives of others over his own needs. You see, the only way to truly win this game is by going outside and helping the man, and Gi-hun fails.
자네라면 어쩌겠?
The hidden perspective of this scene is that Gi-hun isn't the true winner of Squid Game nor of this final test. It's Il-nam, who has orchestrated everything and successfully confirmed his belief about true human nature before his death, that has won every game there was to play.
아직도 사람을 믿나?
So think back, because we may have lost a game we didn't even know we were playing.
보는 것이 하는 것보다 더 재미있을 수가 없지.
If you enjoyed Squid Game and are hoping to discover more amazing films, I urge you to check out Mubi, the sponsor for today's video. Mubi is a curated streaming service showing exceptional films from around the globe. Every day, Mubi premieres a new film, from iconic directors to emerging filmmakers, and since every film is handpicked, it's a great way to watch films you love and explore new films you haven't watched. Right now in Canada, which is where I am, they are showing one of my favorite Korean thrillers of all time, I Saw the Devil, which has Lee Byung-hun, the actor who plays the frontman in Squid Game, playing the lead character. You can watch this film from Mubi's library today, as well as many other amazing films when you sign up for an extended 30-day free trial by using my link at mubi.com/SpikimaMovies. That is mubi.com/SpikimaMovies. Thanks for watching.